so obtuse. Speaking of obtuse, best way to describe Kyrie Irving. So he started this, I'm not talking to the media this year. And he got fined $25,000 for it. Quote, I pray that they use the, quote, fine money for the marginalized communities in need, especially seeing where our world is presently. Irving wrote, I am here for peace, love, greatness. Stop distracting me and my team and appreciate the art. And we moved different over here. I do not talk to pawns. My attention is worth more. Ooh, burn media. I don't talk to pawns. Kevin Love said, I think calling anybody a pawn is a sure sign of disrespect. Yeah. By the way, if you want to use the chess reference, pawns are kind of important because pawns can become kings and queens, or queens at least, and other parts once they cross over the other side, right? There's the Queen's Gambit reference to you. Anyway, look, first thing is this. I mean, Kyrie's one of those guys that's been told he's smart, and he's smart enough, but he's not actually intelligent, because if he was, he would realize that the media is all part of what has allowed him to be crazy successful financially. Right? The media writes, covers, reports, talks about him, his team, and it promotes them, which makes you want to watch them. Secondly, there's no accountability from Kyrie Irving. Zero. The things that he has said, which have upset people, he has said on his own. Nobody told him in Boston to grab the microphone and said, if you guys will have me, I'd like to resign. And then he changed his mind. He didn't want to resign. Zero people. That was not the media. Don't blame us for you being an idiot. Don't do that. No one made you call out LeBron James and said, hey, Kevin Durant, I finally got somebody I can trust to make big shots. You did that on your own. No one said to say or asked you about, hey, the idea of not having a head coach. Sounding completely disrespectful to the chain of command in the NBA or in any sport. You haven't played a single game for Steve Nash. You haven't played a single game with Kevin Durant. You've played very few games with this organization. And by the way, if you wanted Jacque Vaughn to be your coach, if you respected Jacque Vaughn, if it was a black-white thing, right? Like I'd like to support. It's one of the things that Nick Wright talked about today on First Things First, which is a lot of players around the league upset at James Harden. Steven Silas grinds it, finally gets a job, and now his star player is going to bail because he's not Ty Lue, right? But like if you wanted Jacque Vaughn, a black head coach, to get a real opportunity, Kyrie Irving was healthy enough to play in Orlando in the bubble, or at least healthy enough, even if he didn't want to play, to travel to Orlando. Didn't want to. Tried to convince the rest of the league not to, and said, we're going to start our own league. Nobody forced you to say any of these things. No one. Zero. Kyrie is Jim Carrey in Liar, Liar. When you walked into the bathroom, I'm kicking my own ass. Do you mind? We don't. We enjoy covering it and putting a microphone in front of you because you say things which cause everybody else in the NBA to be like, dude, what are you doing? The craziest part about this entire discussion over the media and Kyrie Irving is I have lived and worked in New York for 3 years when I was at one of my previous stops. I love the Barclays Center. Beautiful place. The cool. You can take a train, get off, walk right into the gym. It's just like Madison Square Garden. It doesn't have the name recognition of Madison Square Garden, right? But it is definitely Brooklyn cool, right? With an organization that has been to the NBA Finals more recently than the New York Knicks, has been to the playoffs more recently, I believe, than the New York Knicks, is generally more successful. Right? In New York, in order of the attention the media gives, okay, Yankees 1, I would say Giants 2, Knicks and Jets and Mets, probably Knicks 3, Jets and Mets are 4, 5, Rangers probably 6, and when they're good, absolutely Rangers. maybe even higher than 6th. And then, maybe then you get the Nets. Syracuse is good and plays in the Garden. They get as much or more attention than the Nets. That's just the pecking order of it. It's been Jersey's team, then it's Brooklyn's team that just, for whatever reason, have never been able to crack the code. So he's yelling at the media for covering him and asking him questions, which is only going to bring attention to their franchise, which, by the way, is done a pretty good job of rebuilding itself after one of the biggest debacle trades in the history of the sport. Right, when they brought in the big three from Boston, and those guys were like, it was like buying spoiled meat. And basically what Billy King did was what the Tiger King did when he went to Walmart. And remember, he got the big truck of meat that was past its due date. That's what Billy King did. And yet somehow here the Nets are with a shot. Before Kyrie got there, a good culture that people liked, good young players, smart, cool, hip, new area, a chance to build something cool. And you got two superstars who, age-wise, should be in their prime. They've both been beat up by a bunch of injuries, but age-wise should be in the prime. And they have a championship pedigree. Kyrie's won 1. Kevin Durant's won 2, and 2 finals MVPs. And the only thing you're doing is bringing negative attention to a place where there doesn't need to be any. And the only reason there's negative attention is because of the stupid stuff that he said on his own without any prompting. Kyrie is Jim Carrey in Liar Liar, punching himself in the face. I'm kicking my own ass. Do you mind? Yeah, if you blame everybody else for you torturing yourself. You don't have to like it, but it's absolutely your job to talk to the media, to have a relationship with the media. Because at the end of the day, they are really promoting what you do. Okay? The league knows this. The NBA PA knows this. All of your partners know this. All the partners. And by the way, all of the partners which have made you rich beyond all, not just the team, okay, but look, when he was promoting Uncle Drew, did anybody say like, no, hold on, we don't want to have Kyrie Irving to promote Uncle Drew? Like, no, of course you would have him. I had him on when he was promoting Uncle Drew. The great thing about Kyrie is he's actually a really good, interesting interview because he will say what he thinks, even if it's just bizarre. He'll say it. He's not an idiot. But this is for a smart guy, smart enough guy, this is really, really dumb. And he's one of those, said something dumb. Happens, right? Like, I speak for a living. I say dumb things. Said something else dumb. He's on a streak. He's on a roll. Right? And I'm sure he's going to have some crazy game and somebody's going to go Dumb and Dumber. Just when you couldn't do anything dumber, yeah, dude, you do this, right? You go buy a moped. Totally redeem yourself. But Kyrie Irving is kicking his own ass. And he doesn't need to. Just play, answer questions. I mean, I don't like the Rasheed Wallace or the Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined. But is it that hard? By the way, I think, and this is, I want to make sure I say this, and for everything we put out there, Kyrie Irving is so crazy talented, it's silly. Right? James Harden, crazy talented. Paul George, crazy talent. These guys are insane talents. So if you want to run back to your boys and go like, Gottlieb thinks you suck. Like, no, I actually think you're incredibly talented. But how you're remembered, this is, he's kind of going the path of Isiah Thomas. Right? I know that Isiah Thomas, to you, if you don't have a memory or you weren't watching sports or you didn't pay attention to it, he comes across as a sympathetic figure because he was a great player who won 2 NBA championships, was the point guard of an NCAA championship team in Indiana. Like, he checked so many boxes. He's bright. He's good looking. Hell, Isiah Thomas looks the same age as I do, and he's like 20 years older than me. Right? He's got a lot of good things going for him. But when he was in the NBA, he was such a jerk to so many people that were his contemporaries, right? The Larry Bird, if he was black, he'd just be another player. The freezing out of Michael Jordan, the icing of the Bulls when they won a title. What he said about his best friend in Magic Johnson when Magic got HIV, like all of these things. And then what he didn't do a great job managing the Raptors, but he was very young and new in terms of being a president of a basketball operations. He never got the Pacers out of the first round, but it was always somebody else's fault. My team was young. This went against me, that went against me. And then with the Knicks, it's always somebody else's fault. None of these things were done to Isiah. Opportunities, much like Kyrie Irving, opportunities were given to him because he's a spectacular basketball player. Given to him, earned, however you want to, term it, use it. But like, you go, you punch yourself, you step on your own, you shoot yourself in the leg, Plaxico Burress style once. All right, it's an accident, but 5, 6, 7 times, I can't help you. Can't help you.